Hello, I'm Dark Shades, and I don't record on this platform very often, but every now and then I want to talk about a topic that I don't think is really compatible with Black Bright News, and this is one of them. And I think those to do with sex and more intimate situations I prefer to keep on this channel. So, so I wanted to pose the question. The older a man is, should he be getting better at sex? I mean, we take it for granted that people improve with age. But do men improve with age when it comes to sex? And it's a really tough question. It's a sensitive question. Now, recently I've been talking to women and, I don't even know how it's come up. But for some reason, they've been sharing with me that they don't want sex, they don't like sex, they're too dry as they're getting older, and they don't enjoy it and they can't be bothered. And I was kind of thinking to myself, are those factors true? I mean, people seem to think that as you get older, you get dry and it's a given. Now, technically, they do say that when you go through the menopause, the lining of your vagina starts thinning and it could cause painful sex if you're not taking HRT. But it's not about dryness. Dryness is to do not only with the mind, but also the technique of the man in order to make you moist. So I don't know whether a lot of women convince themselves that that is the reason they don't want sex, or whether it's because they haven't had sex for so long, they have really become dry and they haven't done anything to moisten that area or keep that part of themselves active. I mean, even if you don't have a man, you can still find ways to satisfy yourself. Some people, they frown on that. But I'm just saying it is an option. So I decided to talk about why is it that men, regardless of their age, they don't seem to improve as they get older when it comes to sex. I think in black on black relationships, I think it's a cultural thing. I think black women are less likely to tell a man what she needs or what she likes sexually. I think white women are more inclined to do that, to tell them a black man their fantasies and what they like from what they don't. And I think because black women feel a bit, they're like they're protecting the man, they don't want to make him feel shame or whatever, so they probably don't know how to say it in a sensitive way. They tend to try and fake it and have sex with the partner and just get it over and done with without enjoying it. That's not everybody. You have some people who naturally gel, who are sexually compatible, and they just hit it off and it's a fluke that they actually enjoy sex. Now, because that man has had that fluke experience with one woman, he could think that it's the same with every woman he goes to. He just has to put it in and magic happens. But that is not how it goes. Every woman is different. Every woman is built different. Every woman's needs are different. Some women want foreplay. Some women can't stand foreplay. Some women like to have their breasts sucked or titillated. Some find it annoying. Some people who, with their erogenous zones, they like to have it tapped or pinched or rubbed, and some people don't. Sometimes it all depends on the pressure. Should you be touching your erogenous zone, or should your partner be touching your erogenous zone like a feather, or is it like he's kneading bread? Some men them dead are rub it like they're kneading dumpling, and not realizing the sensitivity of that area. So sometimes it's technique, and because a woman doesn't show a man or tell a man what she likes and what is unique to her, a man is kind of fumbling in the dark. He doesn't have a clue. You can't blame him. You can't blame him for being a poor performer. It's different if they're impotent, they have health problems like they're diabetic, or they got prostate problems. Some ejaculate very quickly. I'm not talking about those kind of situations which you need probably help to navigate. I'm talking about the majority where a man does need guidance when it comes to sex. And women are just expecting, well, a man is just expecting to put it in and think that's all he needs to do because that's what he's been taught. Or that's what he's been taught. And a woman is expecting him to know her body. He's expecting her to navigate her body, to look at the signs, to look at her expressions, to hear the sounds that she's making, to see how her body is moving. But men, if they're all up in their head, all they're doing is, that and just want to come. And they haven't got a clue about seeing what a woman wants. And it's ironic because that movie with Mel Gibson, What a Woman Thinks or What a Woman Wants, and it didn't cover that sex aspect because it would have been interesting if it did. So what have I got here? I've written down some stuff. So what have I got here? I put it's a fluke that sometimes they satisfy a woman. Some men have the one size fits all mentality. When aroused, they seem to think that because one woman can accommodate the size of their penis, whether it's small or large, all women can. All women get the same sensation. They don't realise that the vaginal canal is actually different sizes, ranges from 3 inches to 6 inches. When it's aroused, it actually gets longer in order to accommodate it. The body is fantastic. The uterus tilts back and goodness knows what else happens to allow deeper penetration. But a man is not going to know that. Some women have tilted uteruses, and that affects how comfortable sex is. So sometimes when a woman says, I don't like sex or sex is uncomfortable, it could be something to do with how her vagina is positioned. But men don't think of like that. They're just going in and thinking that's all they need to do. And it's not. So when aroused, the vaginal canal grows longer, which allows a woman's cervix and uterus to lift up and away from the canal so that penetration will be more comfortable. No two vaginas are the same. They don't even look the same, and they're not the same. So you can't treat them the same. So a man should not use the same technique on all the women he sleeps with. Some women have shallow vaginas. I bet men didn't even know that. And if you've got a shallow vagina and you have a long penis and then you're there ramming it or doing whatever you are doing with it, the woman is going to feel uncomfortable. And then, you hear some of these women, they're talking about ram it or stab it or whatever they're talking about, or sit down on it. It's not every woman that is positioned the same way, and it's not every woman that can tolerate or even entertain that type of sex. So those women make it bad for the regular women. They might have long cervix, they might have long vaginal canals for all we know. So they can take it, but another woman can't or doesn't want to. So women with shallow vaginas will find penetrative sex uncomfortable. Some women have a tilted uterus that sits just above the vagina. It usually points forward towards the abdomen. But in 1/3 of the woman, the uterus tilts towards the spine. And this is sometimes known as the retroverted uterus. A tilted uterus doesn't shorten the length of the vagina canal, but it may make insertion or penetration difficult. So you see, I think conversations need to take place before sex takes place. Really, I think you should be talking romantically. Yes, you. The thing is, the average scenario is that two people are attracted. They start kissing, they start fondling, and the next thing you know, the clothes are off and they're having sex. And I think a conversation needs to take place on, have you had any problem having sex with the other partners? Do you enjoy sex? Are you just doing it to please me? How does sex feel to you? Do you prefer penetrative sex? Do you prefer sex from the back? Whatever it is. What does oral sex feel for you? I mean, some men think that all they've got to do with oral sex is go down there and that's it. Some of them haven't got a clue that there's even a technique to oral sex. They're just going blindly on without thinking or even looking at the woman to see how she's responding. They just assume. So, what else we've got? So, a lot of them, they don't have no clue where the G-spot is or the erogenous zones. That's what I'm saying. They go blindly in and think that they've got it when they haven't. And they don't stop to think or look at the woman to see how she's responding to what they're doing. It's taken for granted that a man can satisfy a woman just because he's got a large penis or because he knows how to use. Well, if he knows how to use it, that's totally different. It doesn't really matter what size it is. But it's not a given that a man is going to satisfy a woman. I love watching these programs where like Temptation Island or all of that. And some men are good at it and some men aren't. And some women are saying, it's a waste of time. And it's almost like a man thinks or believes that all he's got to do is to get a woman, put his penis inside a woman, and the job is done until he comes. Really, a lot of men think that way. They don't think that there is a process, a technique, a meeting of the minds, psychological intimacy and emotional intimacy. They don't think about all of that. And then they wonder why the woman ain't groaning or the woman ain't coming or whatever it is they expect her to do. Then they'll say she cool. She lied down like a plank. She not no movement. She not move. And if you're doing it right, you might get the response you want. But it's not straightforward. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to lower the tone of this video, but it's not straightforward. Okay, so the tilted uterus will also make penetration from behind and deep thrusting especially uncomfortable. These could be reasons why women shy away from sex, not because she doesn't want it, but because the man hasn't taken her into account, or what she can accommodate or what she cannot. Does he study the woman, her expressions, the way her body moves, the sounds? Is she ready? Is she dry or is she moist? Some men, when they see a woman dry, they say, "Boy, she tight. Me like it when she tight." And they haven't got a clue how uncomfortable it must be for that woman if she's not moist. I mean, technically the woman should be saying, "Look, I'm not ready for this. I need to use some lube or I need to do something," if she wants it. But, some women just want to please their partners and they do it and they grit their teeth while they're doing it and just pray for it to be over as soon as possible. The man picks it up and then says, "Well, she not enjoy it," or whatever. And the next thing you know, he's blaming her. Not, what is going wrong, babes? Is there anything I can do that's different? Is it hurting you? Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you want me to stop? No, they don't want to stop. They just want to until they come, and then maybe afterwards they say, "Well, you enjoy it," and they're not really interested in whether the woman enjoys it or not. So, yeah, so a lot of women, I think it's sad when a lot of women are shying away from sex these days, because I just think it's because they don't know how to talk about it. It is a very sensitive subject. You do have egos involved. Um, and some women don't even know their bodies. They don't even know why their body is reacting to it in that way, in an uncomfortable way. And there's lots of reasons why they might not be able to accommodate their partner. They might want to, but there's lots of reasons why that might not take place. So, what else we've got? What makes a man good at sex? Mostly focusing on his woman, asking questions. Some couples are naturally sexually compatible. Some men feel oral sex is guaranteed orgasm, but even that takes skill. How do you manipulate the G-spot? Feather technique or kneading technique? Tap, flick, pinch, rub. Does masturbation using hand toys or hand prevent vaginal orgasm? No, it doesn't. Some people think that, or some men blame women for using toys or masturbating for the reason why they can't satisfy her or they can't make her reach an orgasm. It doesn't make a difference. Some women take 20 minutes to reach an orgasm. How does that impact a 5-minute man? He's never going to be able to satisfy her if he can only last 5 minutes. And like I said, with men, it's all psychological. It's all in the brain. They can actually last as long as they want to if they're interested in making it last. But like I said, some of them just want to come and get it over and done with. So they're not interested in focusing on the woman or what she wants and putting in their mind to hold it off, because they can stop themselves from coming if they want. They have control over their penis. So, yes, apart, there are impotency problems, premature ejaculation, prostate problems, like I said, diabetes and other health issues that can prevent satisfying sex, but not really dealing with that. We're dealing with people who are more or less have a healthy sex drive, and they've got it all together, so to speak. So why can sex be uncomfortable, painful, unsatisfying? Well, you've got vaginal dryness, like I've said before. There could even be an infection, yeast infection, any kind of infection. Sometimes when you're taking a lot of tablets, especially as you get older, it creates a yeast infection or thrush, and you can end up that making it uncomfortable. Weak vaginal muscles can make sex unsatisfying. Not every woman enjoys sex regardless of what you do. The average vaginal canal is 3 to 6 inches long, so a large penis would be painful for someone with a 3-inch canal. Pelvic floor exercises to improve sexual pleasure. If your vaginal muscles are weakened, you can actually get some kind of instrument that can help strengthen your pelvic wall or your pelvic floor. Vaginal stenosis is where the vaginal opening and canal become shorter and narrow. A man boasting of a large penis would terrify such a woman. That's what I mean. Men think it's just about the size and the width and just shoving it in, not thinking about how that woman is made up. How is that woman made up? Every woman is different. They have something called the MRKH syndrome, which is an undeveloped or absent vagina and uterus. And she may not know that until she gets older. But some of the symptoms is lack of menstruation. Doctors could recommend dilation techniques to stretch the vagina. Sounds painful to me. Menopause. That's another reason why a woman might not want sex, because it affects the hormone levels. Loss of estrogen. If you don't take HRT, like I said, it could cause the vaginal lining to thin out. They call it vaginal atrophy, making sex painful. If you like your things, you better take HRT, because a lot of women don't want to take it and they suffer. And why suffer? Especially if you can get it. Take it while you can get it. There'll be a time when there's a shortage and you won't be able to get it. So the key thing is to communicate with partners, ask them what they like and what they don't like, what makes sex enjoyable. That's mostly to do with how you feel about your partner, sensitivity, awareness, being considerate, tenderness, being unselfish, sex drive, positioning, quick and easy, long and hard, all depends. All of these things are individual. That one size, like I said, doesn't fit all. What you can do to one woman, another woman isn't going to like it. It's like some women like tongue kissing, some women don't. Some women like you putting your tongue in your ears, some women don't. Some women like you suck it, kissing their neck, some don't. Every woman is different. Every woman is different. So you have to customize your sexual technique as men for each individual woman. If your tun is tight, like if you haven't had sex for a while, it can be painful. Men need to take that into consideration. Not say, oh, with my last girlfriend, I could do it 2 or 3 times a day and I can only do it once now. Once a week. It's not about that. It's about understanding your partner and understanding that one woman who you was having sex 3 or 4 times a day with might have a totally different anatomy. Well, she will have a totally different anatomy. So she's not going to be able to accept you in the same way and at the same frequency as your last ex-girlfriend. It's got nothing to knock your current woman for, but you just have to recognise the differences and recognise why you're able to satisfy one woman and not another. And you might also find, I'm speaking to men now, that if you had a brilliant sex life with your woman and then you broke up because of an infidelity or something went wrong, you could find that when you go back and have sex with that woman, that sex is never the same. And you might say, what's wrong? What's happened? It's because a lot of sex is psychological and emotional. And when you've betrayed a woman, regardless how good the sex was before, it's not going to be the same when you go back there. After you've had a break, after she's known that you've been with someone else. So that's what I'm saying. It's not something that you just do or something that just happens. It's something you have to work on. And when a woman opens up herself to you and she's given herself to you and she's relaxed in with you in her lovemaking, and then you betray her in whatever way, you're not going to get that back. It's going to take a while to get that back. That's all I'm saying. Men cannot know how to please women instinctively. Just like cooking needs to be learnt in order to become a connoisseur, the same way with sex. A lot of men turn to prostitutes because they can't be bothered. They can't be bothered with the hard work. They just want self-gratification. They don't want to try and work out what a woman needs or what it takes to satisfy a woman or make a woman come. All they're interested in is getting their end off. And so a lot of them, they go to prostitutes, and the prostitute is there to please them. And no matter what they do, it doesn't really matter. So experience comes with age, but not with sex. It needs to be taught by every new partner you sleep with. Not easy to tell a man what to do. And, you find, I don't know how many women discuss sex. I mean, they might say, oh, I had it last night or whatever. But do they go into details? Do they go into what they like? I mean, I think about my friends. We never discuss intimate details. So if we don't discuss it and if they don't discuss it with men, how does anybody know what works or if there are any similarities? Yes, you have the researchers who know, like the erogenous zones, they're given, they actually work, but trying to find those erogenous zones or applying the correct amount of pressure to those erogenous zones, it's a minefield. It's not easy. So, like I said, the reason I did this video is because a lot of people, women, older women, were talking about didn't like sex, they were afraid of sex, or they didn't enjoy sex and they're dry and this and that. And I think there's more things at play there. I think there is much more to that than meets the eye. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I hope you found this interview, not this interview, I hope you found this video interesting and informative. That's all for now. Bye-bye.